Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and I'm so excited to be here with you on this fine Friday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're joining us from. We got Annie Yang in the chat, Lauren Stanton, Wade Acuff is moderating today. Let me know where you're coming from, Jack Watson. Are you coming from this side of the Atlantic or that side of the Atlantic? Is it daytime or nighttime, and what are your weekend plans? Give me an emoji that represents your weekend plans. Maybe it's a bed, maybe it's a hamburger, maybe it's a game piece, a board game, or a movie. I'd love to know. We are doing the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Let's find out a little bit more about that over at behance.net/challenge/XD. Hit that big blue button to sign up. Take the challenge, which consists of 9 challenges. And today we are on challenge number 4, a smartwatch interface. Click that Get Started button to get your file, watch the video, and then you can always go back and watch these on replay, and make sure that you join inside of the Discord chat where there's over 60,000 creatives. That's right, I said 60,000. Come on down to the challenge tab here, and that's where you can submit your work, and you'll get reviewed on this very stream and later streams as well. We got more and more people showing up in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, come over to Behance, watch it live or watch the replay, because we are going to get going. Talking about getting going, we are going to be building a little bit of a watch interface today. So let me stream down and talk about today's challenge prompt. It is to design a very simple and clean Apple Watch interface. We're going to use UI kits today. We're going to build out some really simple interactions that actually just look and feel very, very native. And then we're going to create a really engaging Behance post. We're going to be using a little 3D transform, some animation, some stuff like that, and be kind of cultivating and building that post. We've got some inspirations down here, as well as some tips and some different bits of info. And here is what we have on our starting file. We have, let's see, what do we have? I'm looking around trying to figure out what it is that we have. We have a starting artboard. Now, when you think about like watch interfaces, they're pretty small. So the Apple Watch interface goes from 44 millimeters all the way down to, I think, 38 millimeters. So we have that. We're going to be using the largest one possible. That's the one I wear, is the 44. And then we have an artboard that has some assets. It has like this nice big empty kind of like mock-up asset that we'll be using at the end. And literally there's just a little bit, like just some info, or a quick gray box, excuse me, on the screen, on the canvas, on the artboard. I can't talk today. It's Friday. My brain's not working. Whose brain is not working? Some people are coming from Ohio. Some people are coming from the UK, the Netherlands, everybody from around the world joining us. Make sure you hit those links and sign up that Wade Acuff was so nice to put in the chat. So first things first, let's work smarter, not harder here. If you're going to build out some interfaces, some Apple Watch interfaces, maybe one of the first things you want to do is not only have a starting file like this, but you also might want to come up to the top here and just go grab yourself a UI kit. When you hit UI kits, you'll probably be led out to a page that looks like this. Adobe has a lot of great resources for you to start with. And right at the top is kits for Apple design in Adobe XD. When we get the kit, it's going to open up some stuff over on the developer.apple.com website. And we have all sorts of different kits that we can get. Let's go ahead and click on Watch OS. And when we zoom in, we have some design templates down here, and there's one specifically for XD. It was just recently updated back in 2020. Not much has changed to the watch interfaces, but you go ahead and download that and install it, and you will have something that looks like this on your screen. Have you ever opened up some of the interface components or UI kits inside of XD? Because this might be what they look like. A little something like this. Let's zoom out so you get a bit of context. We're in the assets, the document assets right now. So you're going to get all those colors, all those Apple colors, as well as character styles over here. Lots of character styles and all those components. We can kind of shoot it over here more to the icon based or visual based thing. So do you need a toggle switch? There's a toggle switch. Do you need the Apple logo or volume, icons and stuff like that? It's all there. And when we zoom in, we get each of these large kind of like areas represent a size. So this one is the 44 millimeter. That's the one we're going to be using. So we're going to want to make sure that we pull anything and everything from there. Now, I have this downloaded. Let's do something real quick. Let's just delete a few of these things because we don't need these sizes, right? We can just delete all this. And let's talk really quickly about libraries, because you can create libraries inside of Adobe Creative Cloud and then use them throughout all your projects. For instance, if I had this design templates plus UI elements, we could come up here to the top and click on the name of our file, and we want to rename our document to be Watch OS. You could do something like this. It could be for a template that you were working with, or it could just be for like any file that you currently have. Now, the cool thing is from here, I can head up to the top into document assets. I can publish this as a library. All I have to do is go ahead and publish like so, and save as an Adobe XD document in the cloud. That way it's accessible to myself, to teams, to other people, right? And now we are saving that Watch OS library that we'll be able to use in multiple projects. The cool thing about this is now we're creating a single source of truth inside of Adobe XD. We're kind of creating a design system. We have a design system kind of already built for us. That means that in any of my projects, if I change the size of a button or, you know, the color or whatever it is, it's going to change in all of my projects. You can see there it's not only saved, but now it is publishing. As it's publishing, we'll head back over here and we'll let that publishing process continue, and we'll check back in on its progress here in a second. Okay, it's up to date and it's now uploading. So that's going to take a little bit of time. Now you might be asking, well, how do I access it? I open up Command-Shift-Y, my assets panel, and you can see that we're currently in the document assets. But what if I want to be in something else? I just click back. Look at all of the different assets or libraries that are now available to me. One of them says Watch OS right there. So we can click on that and look, there's all those styles again. Isn't that nice? Now what's cool is you can either grab elements from here, and that's the reason I deleted all the excess sizes, because this is just for our 44mm. You can pull things from here, or if you'd like to, you can just go back here and go shopping in your master file. That's fine too, because they're all going to be linked to the same file. It's good stuff. So for instance, maybe I really want these kind of like parent elements right here. I can come in and just see these are called status bars, 44mm status bars. So I could do a little search up here, status like that, and now we have different status bars. So let's take this basic status bar. We like that. See how it's 44mm? It fits perfectly in there. And we are now tucking some native components. All right. So it's all about, sometimes it's nice to make things really flashy, really cool. You want to make your own stuff, right? Somebody said that in the chat. I love making my own stuff. I get that. We all love making our own stuff. But maybe your task, the task at hand, is to do something really, really native to make it just absolutely seamless. Well, now you have those seamless elements. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you. And I'm going to make my artboard or the background here match this black. So everything is matching now, okay? So far, so good. Let's cruise down, see if we can find some table cell rows or some different stuff. Now, we can break out of the mold here. Let's actually break out of the mold just a tad bit. I don't mind that at all. I'm going to hit T for text. I'm going to put a time in here. It is currently 4:08 where I'm located. So that is great, and we have Roboto in there. That's fine. Let's use something else. Like, I'll tell you what, today we're going to be using Sophia Pro, which is kind of a nice one. And I'm going to grab the bottom of my expanding text and just make sure everything is aligned there. Beautiful. I love that. I'm going to hit Command Y to go back to my layers panel. I'm just going to put the time up here, and let's make the time really big. It is a watch, isn't it? So this status bar actually doesn't make sense in the interface that we're about to make. So let's cut that, and let's just do a little bit of work here. It is Friday, so we're just going to bring the size of the text down. I'm not super worried right now about making perfect typography and typographic scales and things that I'm usually a really big fan of. I just want to get some things on the page. So today is what? It's the 7th of January. So let's go January 7, 2022. Anybody else having a really hard time saying 2022? I know I am. All right, so let's put Friday back in there, and let's bring this back down here to about 13 pixels, and we'll just bring the opacity of this down. That gives us just a little bit of contrast between these elements. All right, now I have a background shape here, and you know, you can just take that out of there and fill this with a color. Your whole artboard could be filled with a color, but I'm going to leave our square in there. I'm just going to call this BG in our layers panel. I'm going to lock it so that we don't mess with it from here on out. That's what I'm going to do there. And then I'm going to hit R for rectangle and just drag out another little rectangle here. Now, let's say we were working with a color palette, which we have lots of color palettes or colors in our design system that we established. But let's just pull from this blue, right? Let's use this as the main kind of color that we might be using today. We want a really neutral version of this. And if you'd like to do that, you can do that really, really easily by creating some rectangles up here and creating what's called a color scale. I'm going to go white. I'm going to put it on top and I'm going to bring it down like 20%, something like this, or 60%, excuse me. That just kind of neutralizes it. And now you can see the color scale that I'm starting to create. So we're using our base color. We're just continuing to scale out. And you can go the other way as well to get darker hues. We can go with black and just start to get closer and closer to black. And that's how we start to get some of those kind of on-brand colors for us, if you'd like to. Okay, so that's just something you can do. Little hint for you. You can also put gray on top of it and really neutralize that color. So something like that, which actually is pretty good. I like that a lot. So let's do something like that. So now I have kind of a color palette that I'm building above, and we are going to kind of pick and choose from it a little bit. I'm going to go here in the gray. See how it has a little bit of that cool tinge? You might not be able to see it from like on your screen, but we want to get something just with a little bit of a cool tinge like so. And let's drag another version of this over. I'm going to shrink both of these down, and in a second I'm going to open up an application on my computer called Nucleo. It's where I get my icons from. Now I could use those stock icons that come in the design system, but let's explore. We're customizing a little bit, and that's fine. That works for me. So we're going to let that open up. It might just take a second. We'll have some icons in there. And then let's do something like, this is a basic kind of watch interface. We're grouping elements together. Let's make a quick pagination, and we'll do some component states out of it as well. So let's hit E for ellipse, and we'll just drag out a little ellipse. Take the border off so you can see it really, really clearly. And let's see. I'm actually, you know, it's funny. I'm going to take this and just call this a dot. And I'm going to turn this into a component. I know it's like, what a thing to turn into a component, but I'm going to turn this into a toggle state, and I'm going to do the default state and the off state. The off state is going to be with the opacity down. Actually, let's bring the opacity up and pick this neutral color, and we're going to shrink the size here. Okay. So you got to make sure you don't shrink the component itself, but the shape and all the elements inside the component, right? So now you can see we have our master and our instance, and we have on and we have off. So let's just bring that over here. Like the way this is looking so far, we'll just do another off state, and I'm going to distribute just using that horizontal distribution tool at the top like that. I'm going to group the whole thing together, and I'm going to align it in the center of my interface like so. And then with all of those dots selected, we're going to make a nested component, right? So let's call this Pagi for pagination. Command K to turn it into a component. The inner components have been converted from the main component to the instance, our warning says. You can't have the actual master component inside. You don't want that. So it made that switch for me. Now we can say default state. Let's go to a new state. We'll call this state 2. And what are we going to do? We're going to come inside with our instances, and we'll just be able to swap these. So I'll go to default there and off there. Beautiful. And let's go one more. New state, state 3. And Adobe XD always works off of the component state that you had selected. So now you can see I have 3 states, state 3, state 2, and the default. And we don't have to do that manually now inside of our artboards as we continue to build artboards. Let's see if Nucleo has popped up. It sure has. I'm going to do a quick search for a mail, like an envelope or an email kind of thing. This is why I like having some sort of icon sorting software, because it allows me to just like get stuff done really, really quickly. Now I'm going to go for an outline style. I'm going to pull let's come back here. I drug that in. I'm going to pull in an icon for that, and let's do something like a bell for notifications. Let's just pull our bell in as well. These are great. I love these. I'm going to pull these on top right there. And we're going to make both of our icons white so they kind of pop a little bit. And they're a little bit large, so I'm just going to shrink them down. When we do that, though, we are kind of messing with the border size. So we're going to bring the size of the border down. And then just kind of center these inside. These are looking good, just like we want them. Fantastic. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of this color, but that's okay. It's kind of a neutralized color. We're into it a little bit. All right. So that is our first artboard. We want people, our users, to be able to come in here and see like just the basics of their day, kind of building a scheduling app for the new year for this watch. All right. So we're just respacing a few things, and let's call this artboard 1. We're going to drag out another instance of this, and let's just do the second version today so we don't get too carried away and too hyper focused. But let's build one that just goes to like your calendar, that has like a description of how many calendar items are happening, right? So I am actually going to go back into my design system and go looking for status bar again, and we don't want the document assets. We want to be inside of that watch OS assets. Status again. There's a couple different kinds of status bars inside of iOS interfaces or operating systems, and specifically in the watch interfaces. One of them is a parent, one of them is a child, right? So we're going to scroll down and make sure we're getting the right one. Where's our 44 mil? There it is. So this one would be a child component that is able to move back, right? So let's bring that out, because we're going to lose the main time on our secondary artboard here. So the time's going to go away. We're going to move this right in, push it up to the top. Let's just change this time so it matches, right? It shouldn't take you that many hours to check your watch. So let's go back to 4:08, and we'll type dashboard. Okay, right there. It's a little long. Let's just type home. Good. That works great for us. All right, let's pop some colors in here a little bit more. So I'm going to grab our rectangle. I'm just going to get that nice big blue color, and I'm going to do the same thing, and this time I'm going to drag over and find a green that works for me a little bit. Now I don't want to create the smaller the interface. This is kind of like UI like 101 right now. The smaller the interface, the less styles of text and shape and color you should really introduce. So we really shouldn't introduce very many more sizes. So what we're going to do is just take that current thing that we have there, and just make this our subheadline. So calendar. Okay. So calendar like that. And then we would be able to maybe, let's take these guys up. And I forgot that I really, really wanted my icons to be white, didn't I? Let's make those white on this first screen, just like that. Let's do the same here. We want them to pop a little bit. I don't love the stroke weight on them. I would definitely go back after the fact and fix those up. But for now, this could work. Okay, so let's stretch these down a little bit. We're creating same kind of components, but we're just adding a little bit of something to it. Okay, again, we're also going to take the same typography that we have here, and I made these icons white for no reason, because I'm going to get rid of them actually. So boom, I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of that one. And we could either keep this up here, or we could ditch it if we want to. Let's actually ditch it. I know I was like a big proponent for keeping things standard, but it's there if you need it. All right. And then whenever you want to toss them out, you can totally toss them out. All right. So our time is up top. We are over on the second screen. So we should go to state 2, right? We should absolutely go to state 2. Let's come in here and zoom in a little bit on our interface. We are almost done actually. We'll bring this down here, and let's have, you want the large number to represent, let's do like, we're over on our calendar page or meetings or something like that. Let's do like work and personal. Okay. So we'll do like 3 work, and this will say work. And I don't think we actually need to bring that out a little bit. Good. Okay. What was this size of typography? 56. Let's play with that a little bit. But again, we want to bring in as little as possible new styles. We want to keep it really, really simple. Okay, so there, like that. And we'll just bring that up. That works good for us. Okay, and bring my layers panel up again, making sure these two things are linked together, grouped together, my number and my word. And I'm just centering everything the way it should be. Beautiful. And I'm going to press Command C. I'm going to come into this group and paste it in there. There we go. And I have one personal. Now the contrast on this is really bad, so I might want to come back in here and just give it a little bit of deepness or some richness. I actually don't like this color either. Look at me just cheating. I'm just cheating today. You guys caught me trying to make things simple, but cheating a little bit. Okay, so now we have like really simple stuff. We can do basic interface or basic prototyping back and forth between the two, or if we want to, we could create one more screen and try to like do a little bit of interaction. Okay, so let's do like the calendar down below. We'll do it really simple. When somebody clicks on work, it's going to head over to the calendar, and then that's where we will actually finally use this top section here. All right, so let's get this out of here, pop this in here, and yeah, we want that child one again, not the parent one. So let's bring our child status bar in and go back to calendar. If you don't like that bubble around the thing, you can totally get rid of it if you want to. But me, I'm going to keep it there. So let's go 408. All right. And then we will reuse the same kind of things. Let's say we clicked on work. That means all of our work meetings should be this blue color. That's what they represent, right? I'm going to steal my text from in here because we don't want to introduce lots of new styles. Okay, I'm going to just bring this up and over like so, and we'll trim it down, paste it inside. And this time though, we are going to grab my text. I'm going to left align the text, not center align, and zoom in. And this could say like meeting. Let's see. Yep, let's call this goals meeting. Everybody should be having themselves a little goals meeting, and we'll put the time of it. It'll be like, I don't know, like 2. Oh, we're already past that time. So let's go 5 p.m., something like that, through 6 p.m. Okay, and we have that kind of faded style. Now all we have to do is grab a line, draw a line all the way down our screen. Let's go back to our layers, make sure everything's in there. We're gonna introduce the dash property in here. Let's make our line white, bring the opacity down, and then let's add some dashes in there. Good. We have a little bit of a kind of a calendar line going on there. All right, so let's grab the line and make sure that it's not inside that group and that our meeting agenda item is above it, just like so. And now we should be able to, if you want to, you can add some like vertical lines, but I'm just going to do another one like this. This is going to say dinner, and let's just do 7 p.m. through 8 p.m. like that. And then let's do current time, shall we? So I'm just going to drag another line, and this line's going to go across, and we need that to be really obvious. So something like a nice bright red line. Look how quickly we're just throwing this together in XD. And then let's do a little bit of like a grabber or something that like kind of highlights the edge. So I'm going to do an ellipse and take this off, grab that same shade of red, and just balance it with my line. I'm going to push it off the screen a little bit. Okay, now you have the current time as it's kind of moving through. Okay, let's do really quick interactions here. We're going to head up to the prototype tab, and we are going to grab the entire thing, the entire artboard, and we're going to say on drag. It's just, when we drag any direction, this should happen. It should work for us. When we do that, it's going to head over to the calendar. When we click on work, why don't we, instead of auto animating, why don't we do a transition, and we will do a push up. Let's make sure that works really quickly, shall we? Here, and it should push up into our meetings. And then if you want to, you can continue this goodness, like all of this calendar stuff, down below, like so. Make sure that our line just continues down, and you could have another one like down here, like bedtime. Something like that, okay? And we see when we select our artboard, do you see this little blue like handle? That's actually the size of like the screen, kind of the above the folder, what's visible at the time. So with that being said, we should be able to come over here and press play and move things out of the way like this. We should be able to swipe a little bit right there. If that was a little funky, we could work that out. We'll click, and now we should be able to scroll up and down inside. Now, last little thing we can do here is we can turn each of these, if you want to do a display, like something really cool, we could grab some shapes and we could highlight them inside here, inside of our artboard. And what we really want to do is, let's say we really loved, remember that little background shape that I said that was in there inside each one of these layers. Let's grab it now, okay, and move it on top. I'm going to grab everything, and I'm just going to say, I want you to mask with the shape. See that? Now everything is masked inside there. Beautiful, that works good. Let's just move it up. And I'm going to grab everything that's inside this masked group. I'm going to turn it into Command K, a component. And now if I want to, I'm able to come over here. I'm able to grab my component. Let's do one more thing really quickly. We're running out of time here. But let's come to our component, our mask group, our background, bink, bink, make one more of these, and we'll bring this all the way down to the bottom so it has a background. Why am I doing that? So that we can grab our component from our assets menu and we can bring it right in here, drop it behind our element, and then should be able to grab our watch and move those around a little bit and make them work. All right. So the cool thing about making things into a component, man, I wish I would had more time for you. I don't have more time, but the cool thing about turning this into a component is you can always come in here to the mask if we need to, and you can change the shape of it so it doesn't overlap our watch. And look at that. Your watch is right on top. Boom. And now you just take that, turn on 3D, and stage it for your Behance project if you want to in any cool way that you'd like. And now that's the start of your Behance project. Hey, we ran a little bit long and we did not have time to look at any of our submissions today, but I'm going to be looking at twice as many submissions next week, starting Monday. Same time, same place here on the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back here with 5 more amazing challenges next week. So make sure you stay tuned, do your homework, submit stuff inside of the Discord and on Behance using the hashtag XD Daily Challenge. Can't wait to see your watch projects and your interfaces. We'll see you next week. Take care.